Yo, welcome to Hard Pass. I am your host, Jacques Slade. Today on the show, we've got even more thoughts on Ye, NBA 2K drama, the week's hottest releases, and of course, a Hard Pass. All right, let's start with some hot takes. Congratulations to the WNBA champs, the Las Vegas Aces. I still can't believe that in just a few short years, Vegas has become a hub for championship caliber teams like the Aces and the NHL's Golden Knights and the Aces and the Golden Knights. But yeah, congrats to them and Finals MVP Chelsea Gray, first-year coach Becky Hammon, and maybe the most hyped athlete to win a championship since J.R. Smith and Asia Wilson. When you're tweeting where the Four Locos at 8 in the morning, you know it's been a hell of a night. But well-deserved. And since we're back in the business of giving WNBA stars signature shoes, I think it might be time to elevate Wilson from someone who just gets PEs of the Cosmic Unity, Nike. I'm just saying. So, Trophy Room has revealed their latest collab with Jordan Brand. And, I don't really know, is it really a collab when the conversation between Trophy Room and Jordan Brand probably started with, "Hey, Dad." Anyways, the new sneaker is an alternate take on the iconic Olympic colorway of the Air Jordan 7, with the focus on Michael Jordan's ascension to the top of the NBA mountaintop, finally surpassing Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. Now, while the response to the sneaker itself has been positive, it's the Trophy Room of it all that has people apprehensive. Alleged backdoor shenanigans and whatnot. It's like you're either Michael Corleone saying, "Just when I thought I was out," or you're Harry Dune screaming, "Just when I thought you couldn't possibly be any dumber." This week's Tell Me You've Never Seen a Pro Wrestling Table Spot Without Telling Me You've Ever Seen a Pro Wrestling Table Spot goes to both the Bills Mafia and ESPN. Come on, people, at least sell the bump. It's like the first thing they teach you at wrestling school, I think. A giant wrapped Timberland boot was seen parading around New York City this past week, and somehow no one was bumping Simon Says by Pharoah Monch. Brr, 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 brr. Anyway, feels like a missed opportunity there, man. Like, if a giant pair of Vans was parading down Olympic and Pico, someone in a classic Chevy is trailing it playing Sublime or No Doubt. Greg Norman was in Washington, D.C. this week to lobby for Live Golf. This is the type of stuff that makes people tune out of politics. Like, instead of, working to solve this country's problems, lawmakers waste their time entertaining a legendary choke artist who should probably register as a foreign agent since he's repping the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Thankfully, both sides seem to have walked out of that meeting in agreement that yes, this was a waste of time, and yes, Greg is a legendary choke artist. Seriously, man. 1996 was so bad. He should be thanking the 2016 Warriors for blowing a 3-1 lead and getting the heat off of him. Michael Jordan's legendary competitiveness was a huge part of the Last Dance documentary. But you'll notice they didn't put a lot of focus on what happens whenever he met his match. Well, it turns out someone who stepped up to Mike was the late Walter Payton, Hall of Fame running back for the Chicago Bears. Here's a piece of that story as told by Payton's son, Jared.
Yeah, my dad takes out a $100 bill, hands it to me. I said, "What's this for?" He said, "I just took all of Mike's money. Tell him thank you." I was like, "Thanks, Mike." And I ran upstairs, put it in my piggy bank. I watched my dad and Jordan for the rest of the night battle at everything from pickup sticks to pool to Miss Pac-Man, Space Invaders, and they were up to like 4 in the morning.
Maybe this is why we don't have a lot of Air Jordans in Chicago Bears colors. Before we move on to the next segment, I just want to express my sympathies to Warren Lotus. We've been hard on the kid ever since we talked about his attempt to create bootleg Nike Dunks. Anyways, I guess it was this week or last week, whatever. Lotus was supposed to release his own take on the foam clog craze, but apparently somebody vandalized his storefront in LA. So we were ready to make this our hard pass and get on our high horse about not condoning this kind of stuff regardless of what we think about their business practices. But then everybody in the comment section claimed that this was an inside job or badly planned PR. Well, then good luck with your foam clogs, Warren. Just maybe don't make them look like shell toes from the side. Oh, and one last thing. Ime Udoka. It ain't none of my business. And it ain't none of your business, Celtics fan or not. But also, Hope said, never go Eric Benet. Anyway, guess what? We get to talk about Ye again this week. Isn't that fun? Have you guys had enough? No? And we can tell you hadn't had enough based on our internal metrics, aka views. So, let's do this. It's a mess. It's all a giant mess, and nobody really knows how it's going to resolve itself. And all sides are to blame for this. Ye is at fault, Adidas is at fault, Gap is at fault, we're at fault for continuing to give this story space on our own show. We all suck, man. Anyways, the simplest way I can explain this is that it turns out, and Ye finally admitted to this, Sway had the answers all along. During a Good Morning America interview, because of course that's where Ye would say this and not to Sway's face, his attempts at jumping the line and trying to get himself on the board of all these big companies and conglomerates was not the way. It turns out, when you're on the level of a Kanye West, you should be doing your own thing and building with your people without outside interference. Not sure if that includes the school that's being reported by Rolling Stone as having some controversial methods of teaching and still doesn't have accreditation that's necessary for kids to be able to transfer them to college when the time comes. But, hopefully Ye figures that out before one of his students realizes they can't get into Berkeley or NYU because their credits won't count. But back to Ye finally striking out on his own. I get it. He had to fuck around and find out what happens when you make your bed with big brands like Adidas and Gap. And now that the terms aren't to his liking, he wants out. But not before the brands extract every last ounce of Yeezy goodwill first. According to Ye himself, Gap will let him walk, but he can't use the Yeezy name on damn near anything fashion related for a long time. It doesn't mean Gap or Adidas will actually bar him from making what he wants, but there will certainly be restrictions. If I were Ye, I would take this time to say goodbye to the fashion world. Maybe put a pause on the whole thing with the schools and just do something totally unexpected. And by that, I mean, get into video games. It's not like he doesn't already have ties to the gaming world. I still remember when he disrupted E3 a few years ago to check some games out and had everybody trying to track which booth or meeting room he was going to go to next. Turns out he even went to Nintendo to speak to legendary game director Shigeru Miyamoto to pitch his only one game that was a tribute to his late mother, Donda. As we all know now, that never came to fruition. But I would love to see what other game idea Ye has up his sleeve. At least we know the soundtrack will be super interesting. At one time, he was going to name his follow-up album to The Life of Pablo, TurboGrafx 16. That's the obscure third console in the 90s 16-bit war between Sega and Nintendo. The fact that Ye name checks Blazing Lasers is fascinating to co-writer because that's a deep cut that even he never played until recently through never mind. Anyways, we just wanted to pivot to Ye doing something actually interesting like video games because we know next week is going to render everything about his battles with Adidas and Gap worthless. So with that being said, let's move on. All right, it's the Heat Check, where we bring you everything that's dropping this week. We have the women's Nike Dunk Magma Orange on the 27th for $130, the Nike LeBron 2 White and Metallic Gold on the 28th for $215, the Air Jordan 1 Low Black and Dark Powder Blue for $140, the Tom Sachs Nike Craft GPS Archive on the 29th for $110, Marvel's Black Panther Adidas Ultra 4D on the 30th for $220, Palace New Balance 580 on the 30th, we have the women's Air Jordan 12 Hyper Royal on the 1st for $200, the Air Jordan 4 Black and Light Steel for $210, the Nike SB Dunk 7-time world champion Los Angeles Dodgers on the 1st for $120. Then our pick of the week is the Nike LeBron 20 Time Machine. Those are on the 29th for $200. For a more in-depth look at this shoe, go ahead and check out my unboxing video that's live on the channel right now. Well, watch it after you watch Hard Pass, of course, but yeah, this is a new direction for LeBron's signature shoe, and I'm curious to see how sneakerheads will react to the 20 and LeBron's line moving forward. To me, I think it's pretty cool. Now it's time for a heat check about NBA players obsessing over their 2K ratings. Like, for real? F your ratings in 2K, NBA players. This also goes to NFL players who are upset with their Madden rating and WWE superstars who work themselves into a shoot over stats. It's the silliest tradition in the culture. We were getting ready to do a review of NBA 2K23 for this segment, but then co-writer got stuck on the Jordan challenges. Okay, stuck is a tough word. He didn't get stuck in the challenges, but rather he wanted to do it the right way. See, much like NBA 2K11's revered Jordan challenges, the 2K23 version has you performing various in-game tasks to get a perfect 3-star rating. Some are obvious, like scoring challenges or winning the game. But just like 2K11, 2K23 includes rebounding challenges, and it's insufferably hard and frustrating. Why? Well, because Michael Jordan is a guard. He's not always in position to grab a rebound, and if you do disregard the man you're guarding to grab a rebound away from James Worthy or Sam Perkins, like in the game's first challenge, it can lead to inadvertent box outs and Patrick Ewing putting one back in your grill. And yes, you can adjust the difficulty and reposition MJ to a front court spot, but that breaks the immersion. And 2K did a great job of that this year with some caveats, of course. Co-writer wants to fulfill the challenges the right way because he's a dork and I can't tell him anything else. He and Ye should really get together on that video game idea. Anyways, every year, a few weeks before the release of 2K, Ronnie Singh, aka Ronnie 2K, loves to get real-time reactions from players over their ratings. While some take it in stride, others, I believe, take it way too personally. Like, take this reaction from Jason Tatum last year when he found out he was only a 90 in 2K22.
I got to a 91. I think it was a 91.
I think you got to set the base at 92.
What do you think it's going to be by the end of the year?
Get to 95 by the end of the season.
You're on 90.
Oh, my God. I don't know how we keep going backwards. I scored 50 in the playoffs twice, 4 50-point game, tied Larry Bird record, 27 a night. I'm up for a challenge.
He's up for a challenge. Jason Tatum in NBA 2K22. That rating's going to go up. He starts as a 90, but the sky is the limit.
You can tell it actually hurt him to hear that he was merely a 90. Jason Tatum, legit NBA superstar, is bummed out over a number. It hurts my head to see and hear, and I sure hope nobody told him he's only a 93 in 2K23 despite leading his Boston Celtics to the NBA Finals last season. I can already hear him saying, "How am I only a 93 and Luka is a 95? He didn't even make the finals. And Kawhi is a 94? He didn't even play last year." Klay Thompson, a dude who is so likable, not even the trolliest of right-wing trolls cares that one of his nicknames is China Clay, was heated over his 88 three-point rating, putting him in the same company as former teammate Kevin Durant. He probably wouldn't care so much if there wasn't a 10-point differential between himself and fellow Splash Bro, Steph Curry, but still, he called the 2K devs bums. Wow. You never see Clay get that mad in a real basketball game. Wow. Nobody tell him that you had to use injury-free rosters in order to play him for the past 2 years, and his stats were not great in that time. Guys, it's not like these ratings are set in stone. 2K regularly updates player rosters and ratings, so when someone gets hot over the course of a season, we see their rating go up. So if your game dictates it, the number will go up. Conversely, if a player's performance declines, so too will their rating. So yes, Kevin Durant, if you ball out, stay healthy, and not start your next chapter with a Players Tribune article that spawned a million memes, you can rise above your 96, a rating that's second only to Giannis Antetokounmpo's 97, and hit that 99 by the end of the season. Can someone just tell these guys that they can edit their ratings to whatever they want in the game? It's really not that hard. Ronnie is drowning in your tears and tweets NBA players who take their 2K rating too seriously. Save it for something that's actually important, like convincing 2K and Charles Barkley, Rasheed Wallace, Reggie Miller, Chris Webber, and other legends to resolve their differences, aka give them the bag so they can be in the game. Beating the snot out of the 2002 Sacramento Kings, it just isn't the same without Webber playing hot potato with the basketball in pressure situations. Jeez. Anyway, it's time for this week's Hard Pass. We'll take a look at something in the culture that just needs to go. Like Kyrie Irving. Damn. Man, if it's not Kanye, it's Kyrie. If it's not Kyrie, it's Kanye. Thanks for the content, I guess, but I really wish they wouldn't give us so much material. Anyway, Kai was in the news this week. And no, we're not talking about his relationship with Nike and how that appears to be ending after this coming season. We're not even talking about his continued protest against COVID vaccinations. I think we've made our point clear, very, very clear here on Hard Pass about that, but I think it bears repeating so there's no confusion. We disagree with Kyrie's stance on COVID vaccinations, but we get it. In order for us to really move on from COVID and not just pretend it's over, even though it's still killing a significant number of people per day, we need more people either vaccinated or boosted. If not, then take the necessary precautions to stay safe. If Kyrie just wants to do the latter, fine. September 2022 is a far cry from March of 2020. We don't have to live in bubbles anymore, but we can't pretend like it's not a threat or that things just can't get worse. Just be smart about it. What isn't smart is calling vaccine mandates like the one New York City's Eric Adams is implementing for city workers one of the biggest violations of human rights in history. As a black man with Native American roots, I'm sure Kyrie can think of more than a few bigger violations of human rights than a confusing vaccination policy whose purpose is to keep people safe from a virus that transmits through droplets in the air when we talk, yell, cough, or sneeze. But we're not talking about that, even though we just did. Damn it, Kai. No. What we wanted to talk about with Kai was something he posted on Instagram a week ago. We're not going to play the clip or say the name and show the face of the person in the video, but he's a conspiracy-loving snake oil salesman who is being sued again by parents of the 2012 Sandy Hook shooting. For years, he said that the tragedy was staged and that it was a big government conspiracy. He's paying for it now. He already lost a lawsuit last year by one of the parents, but he's been around for so long and spewed so much venom and garbage that the clip Irving posted was from 2002. It's the type of nonsense that you used to hear if you were listening to talk radio on the way from the club or at a party at 3 a.m. You never actually took the crap seriously. You just laughed it off and wondered who would be dumb enough to believe it. Well, Kyrie Irving is not dumb. He's one of the most insightful, thoughtful, and respectful athletes you will ever come across. But he also takes the Galaxy Brain meme way too seriously. One moment, you're in awe of his support of WNBA players who were hurt financially during the early months of the pandemic. The next, you wonder what's on his mind when he doubles down on his flat earth takes. Like, it's one thing to wonder if Tupac really did write that song that was on the Chappelle Show in 1994. And it's another to endorse one of the most incendiary and unhinged conspiracy theorists of this century. And then to seemingly wave it off during a Twitch stream as, quote, cancel culture nonsense? No, absolutely not, Kai. You don't have to dig deep to find conspiracies and atrocities being committed to our people. Look up what's happening in just Mississippi alone, and you'll find enough controversies to fill episodes of your favorite tinfoil hat-wearing podcasts. From people in Jackson not having clean water to Hall of Fame Green Bay Packers quarterback Brett Favre becoming the real welfare queen, it's all there. You are free to express your opinions whether we like it or not. Just like we here at Hard Pass are free to express our opinions whether the people in the comments like it or not. And our take is that you're better than all of this, Kai. On the court, you're better than 99% of the NBA players you've ever come across. Well, at least on offense. Off the court, you're smarter than all of the conspiracy theorists you watch and listen to. It's about time you actually proved it. All right. That's going to do it for the show. Thank you guys for watching Hard Pass. I am Jacques Slade. I'll see you next week. If you'd like to possibly be featured in a future episode, call us at 818-493-9325. Leave a short message, your socials if you want, no more than 30 seconds. All right. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.